Alright, today I'm going to be playing Zaxxon, made by Sega for the Atari 2600. Now what is Zaxxon? I'm not sure exactly, but the logo looks really cool. Kinda looks like something you would see on a hair metal album. Alright, so this is Zaxxon for the Atari 2600, and as you probably heard in the beginning with that horrible static, that is how the game starts up and plays, so I guess you could almost consider that music. It's very annoying and will haunt your dreams always. Zaxxon was made by Sega in 1982 and came out for the Commodore 64, the Amiga, the NES, and for the Atari 2600. It's a game that I really want to like, because for the Atari 2600, this is an ambitious title. It is absolutely light years ahead of its time. Now, Zaxxon is a straightforward-facing shoot-'em-up, almost a first-person shooter, shoot-'em-up type game, but not quite. And it's interesting because it tries to emulate 3D environments. You have a gauge on the left, which is the blue bar that rises up and down, and it will change color to let you know the height over what you are traveling, like a blue wall, brown wall, or the blue ground, and that way you know if you're going to crash into something or not. Now, all the other enemies are at different heights as well. You have these little green ships that fly at the uppermost level, at the very top. You have little ground ships that hover at a medium height. And then you have army soldiers, and you have things that look like pipes from Super Mario World. And now what those are actually fuel tanks. Because while you don't have a health bar per se, it's one-hit death like many games of the time period, you do have a fuel meter. So if you run out of fuel, you'll instantly lose a life. You start off the game with 5 lives, and believe me, you're going to need every one of them. This game is frustrating. It looks easy to play, but it's not. The mechanics just don't work well. First off, something that you would never guess, if you've ever played River Raid before, you know that you can shoot the oil tanks to blow them up and get extra points. You do that here as well, but if you don't shoot the oil tanks in Zaxxon, you won't even get the oil at all, and it won't refuel your plane, and you'll just randomly explode and not know what happened. Dying is something that you're going to get used to a lot in this game. It's really frustrating. A lot of the walls and the enemies, it's very hard to tell on what level they are. The ground enemies are easy enough, and you can just hover right to the ground and kill them quickly, but the tanks that float mid-air, it's very hard to figure out where you have to be in conjecture to them in order to shoot them and to kill them. Also, there's a lot of unfair situations that the game puts you in. You'll come upon a wall, and you'll have an enemy that is facing your left that you need to shoot, but the only way you can shoot it is by crashing into the wall. So the game doesn't leave you with an option, because the enemy moves to the left, and there's a narrow cutout in the wall, so if you move left, you crash into the wall. If you don't, you get shot down by the enemy. So again, I really think that this is really pushing the limits of what the 2600 can do with the scrolling, with the simulated 2D, 3D environments. You know, on paper, this looks like an amazing game. And for the NES and for many other systems, for the Commodore especially, you know, this game played well because you could see the depth, you could see the walls, you could see where enemies were. But on the 2600, it just doesn't work. It's a shame, because it's a game that I always try to come back to time and time again and really want to like, but it's just more frustrating. They tried to do more than what the game was capable of handling at the time period, and it just creates for an overall frustrating experience. You have walls like this one, which you see that I crashed into, which, what the hell do you even do here? It's just this random generated wall that vibrates, and you have no idea where to go, or if you have to go up or down to avoid it. It just adds to your frustration. Overall, Zaxxon is not a game I'd recommend adding to your library. Hey guys, if you liked the video that you just watched, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. And if you do the Facebook or Twitter thing, follow me at #KingOfRetro. See you next time.